Hello, welcome back to Online Music with Mr. Holzer. Today we're going to continue building our keyboard skills with our right hands and work on a new concept called a chord. Chords are one of the backbones of writing great music, and I'm excited to dive into them right now. Let's jump right into Soundtrap and find where our piano sound is for today by clicking on Add New Track and Piano and Keyboards. I like to demonstrate with this regular piano sound, but if you want to make your learning a little bit more exciting, you can pick any of the other keyboard sounds. If you're having any trouble getting to this page to have this keyboard open, please watch my previous videos. A quick review of our finger numbers before we start. Remember, in our right hand, which is the hand we're focusing on, our thumb is number 1, our pointer finger is number 2, our middle finger is number 3, our ring finger is number 4, and our pinky is number 5. As I go through the lesson, I may refer to these finger numbers, so jump back if you're a little confused about which fingers we're using. And remember, it's really important to try to use the fingers that I mentioned because this is part of correct piano technique, and building these skills and control with our fingers now will help us play more difficult things later. The first piano skill we're going to learn today is sort of building up to us learning about chords. It's called a biad exercise. Bi meaning two, and ad referring to two notes. We're going to start by playing two notes at the same time in a pattern using our finger numbers 1 and 3. That's our thumb and our middle finger. When we place it on the keyboard, we're going to be putting our thumb on Z. We're going to skip X because that's where our pointer finger goes, our number 2, and put our middle finger, our number 3, on C. I have my fingers lined up, but I'm going to press down Z and C at the same time. We hear two notes played at the same time. The next part of this exercise is shifting our hand up. Similar to our past two exercises, our thumb will end up on X, and our middle finger, or our finger number 3, will end up on V. So we went from 1 and 3 here to 1 and 3 here, just by shifting my entire hand over one keyboard key or one computer keyboard key. It'll sound like this. I'm going to continue this pattern until my finger number 1 has shifted onto every key until I get to M. Once I get to M, I'll go back down. It's going to sound like this. And remember, when we practice, we like to use a metronome. I'm going to turn my metronome on. I have it set to 90, which is a very comfortable tempo to practice at. And every time that I play something, I'm going to record it so I could see what it sounded like after the fact. I'm ready to record, and I'll show you what this exercise is going to sound like so you can try it on your own. Let's take a look at what it looks like. We see my two notes lining up at the same time, going up and then down. If yours looks like this, and your notes are lined up with the tick marks at the top for our beats, you probably did it right. Remember, as I'm going up and down with these biads, or these two notes played at the same time, I'm actually only using fingers number 1 and 3 the whole time. Once you've practiced that exercise, you're going to be ready for our next exercise. But first, we need to learn what a chord is. I'm going to open up a new track for my new layer, and I'm going to play a chord for you. Check it out. That was a chord. Let's open up the notes and see what it looks like. What I notice is 3 notes stacked on top of each other, which is exactly what a chord is. A chord is anything more than 2 notes played at the same time. When they line up, they form a sort of sound that can express emotion. Chords are also the basis of harmony. In a song, we have both melody and harmony. Melody is typically the notes that the singer is singing or the main instrument in the song is playing. Melody is usually only 1 note at a time. Harmony refers to the chords that help the melody express what it's trying to. When I talk about chords in a song, I'm talking about the 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, anything more than 3 notes played at the same time that helps create a backing for my melodies. Every chord has its own sound and it helps express different things. Some people might think that this chord sounds happy. Let's listen back and see if that's the case. This chord might sound happy to you because it's what is called a major chord. We can get into what exactly that is later, but a major chord is a chord that seems to be on the positive side of the emotional spectrum. As we get more towards the negative side of the emotional spectrum, we'll have what's called a minor chord. I'm going to show you now how we can play a minor chord. My major chord was my fingers 1, 3, and 5 on C, C, and B. The easiest way to make chords is just to play 1 note, skip the next, and put your next finger on the next note, and then for the 3rd note, do the same thing. I ended up with this for my major chord. The next chord, if I shift up like I did in my first exercise, is going to be a minor chord. That's these 3 notes, X, V, and N at the same time. Let's record that so we can listen back and see what the difference is. Jumping to my notes, I'm just going to put these 2 next to each other. This is our major chord. This is our minor chord. And as I put my mouse over them, I can see those 2 names to help us out. Let's listen to the major chord and then the minor chord and see if we can feel the emotion change. Let's check out that minor chord again. Now, it really is up to whatever the ear of the listener is thinking, but to me and to a lot of people, major will sound happy or more towards happy and positive, and minor will sound more towards sad and a negative emotion. And as we play more and more chords, we can find more complex emotions in our music. The purpose of harmony or using chords in a song, again, is going to be to help our melody express whatever feelings we're trying to. I'm going to make 1 more track so that I can show you an exercise to help us practice playing chords and give you 5 different chords that are really, really easy to use in a song. Let's try it out. The first chord that we can use, and I will call chord number 1, is with our thumb on Z, our finger number 3 on C, and our finger number 5 on B. It's the major chord we started with. Check it out. I'm going to shift my hand up by 1 key, keeping those 3 fingers, 1, 3, and 5, in the same position. Now I'll be on X, V, and N. This is a minor chord, or number 2. I'm going to shift up one more time. So my finger number 1 is on C, finger number 3 is on B, and finger number 5 is on M. Now, if I had to guess just based on the sound, whether this one was major or minor, what would it be? Think for yourself. To me, that chord sounds a little bit sad. It's a minor chord. 1 is major, 2 is minor, and 3 is minor again. We're going to keep going up 2 more times. Luckily, these next 2 chords are both major. With my thumb on V, that's 1, 3, and 5. And then one more up. So my finger number 1, 3, and 5 are on these 3 notes. Let's hear the whole thing in a row. As an exercise, I will record it for you so you can listen back and try it yourself. Once you've mastered that, you can go from top to bottom or try to jump around. In every song, there are usually 3 or 4 chords that are repeated. This is called a chord progression. We'll talk about this a little bit more in our next video. But by using chord number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in different orders, I can start to create different emotions in my music. Go ahead and try to practice the chord exercise going up and down, and then try jumping around, using just fingers 1, 3, and 5 the whole time. If you've really mastered playing your chords, they'll look like this when played all in a row. 3 notes stacked, all lined up, 1 for every single measure. I know we covered a lot today. If you're confused about anything, just go back in the video and watch again. I'm really excited to continue talking about chords and how to make our music better in Soundtrap. I'll see you next time with Online Music with Mr. Holzer.